All right. Hey, everyone. How's it going? My name is Renasio. Today we are doing an interview, more or less. I think we can call it that, right? Interview or podcast with
Yeah.
the voice of Fischl, Brittany Cox. Welcome and thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, there we go. So this is hosted by Hoyo's Café, which is the Discord server we're currently on. I'm saying this as the stream is also listening to me right now. So if you guys want to listen directly, you can go to Hoyo's Café, which is the host for today. Quick go over the rules, just to be safe. Can never be too safe. We will not be accepting unmute requests until the second half. Of course, be respectful and considerate. No audio or video recordings of the event of any kind. And do not ask Brittany to speculate on future Genshin or Hoyoverse related projects. And of course, all server rules still apply to this event. So for a bit more information, I'm sure you can probably do a better, a better introduction of yourself than I can, but I'll do this real quick. Today's guest is Brittany, a voiceover artist and actor producer based in LA. She's known for voicing Ingrid in Fire Emblem, Fischl in Genshin, and Feina, I believe is how it's pronounced, Hauptmann in the anime series Feina Pirate Princess.
Well done.
My favorite one, personally, it's not written here, but I really liked your work in Pokemon. I had it looked up so I
Oh,
wouldn't forget it. But I really like Sonia, so I thought that was great.
oh, thank you so much. I love Sonia.
Um, Maybe you want to add something yourself before we move into questions?
Yeah. Hi everybody. Yeah, I also now voice direct as well. I've been the voice of Ha Yuri in Tower of Fantasy, and now
Oh,
I'm also voice directing a little bit in that as well.
that's really cool.
I'm also in Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro as Gamo, and so do a lot of video games and a lot of stuff. So we can talk about Genshin today, or we can talk about other stuff. So I'm down
I love
for
that.
all
I
of
love
it.
that. Okay, amazing. Okay, should I move into the first question we have?
Sure.
So let's start with this one. This is from Naviet's main piece. What was your favorite part about voicing Fischl?
Oh gosh, she's so funny. I love Fischl. I think my favorite part about voicing Fischl is when she breaks character,
Yeah.
and where she is Amy and forgets
Oh,
to.
definitely.
Yeah, it's always funny to do that. And then for those of you who played the summer event, I guess it was a year or
Oh, that's.
so ago,
Hmm.
where I got to be basically evil
Evil.
official.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, shadow official. That was so much fun. I've always wanted to play my own evil twin, and so that was a dream come true for sure.
That's great. That you answered one of the questions I wrote down because I was going to ask about the summer event and being the
Oh
evil one as
yeah,
well. Perfect. All right. Yeah, I can
it's
imagine.
fun.
And maybe it's not the right question. I'm sure we'll get closer to it as well. I was wondering for you, um, I know that actors in general want to kind of live as the character. You know, you have to get into character a bit more to be able to act more as them. And with the Amy story quest or the event quest that
Hmm.
you're on about, there was definitely a bit more look into who Amy was essentially instead of just Fischl.
Hmm.
Um, is this something you knew at the start of Genshin already? That did you have more backstory on Fischl? Did you know about Amy? Because we only learned about it then, and I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Did you have to embody the character without knowing that at first, or
yeah. It was so funny with Fischl because, like, I knew that Amy was putting on a thing as Fischl,
yeah,
but like before that event, she breaks character very few times. Like it's
definitely,
rare that she breaks character. So
yeah,
for
absolutely.
us, what we did is we found Fischl of like, she has that high speak. She's a little snooty,
Hmm.
very loves her
Oh,
friends, but like it takes a minute for her to get used to people.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and so we found her, then through that kind of discovered who Amy was behind the curtain.
Okay, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to the second question. Here we go. Which one is your favorite official voice line? I assume this is also in story quests, etc.,
Oh,
not just idols or
oh my gosh, there's so many. I mean,
there is.
I and also like her voice lines are so long.
Yeah, definitely.
How can you pick one?
She
You
does
know?
gargle. Yeah, definitely, definitely.
She definitely like uh speaks in monologue as you all
Hmm.
I'm sure know.
Hmm.
Um her anytime she yells at Oz is always the good day where she's like, "Oz, get it together." Or
Yeah,
um but I guess one of my favorite things to say that was a German line that I had to learn
yeah.
really on the day of, and
Uh-huh.
Mitternachtbruch des Sommernachtgardens was
Oh my.
I still have no idea what that means, but
Really?
I will never forget it because it was so difficult.
I can imagine. Yeah. I love that though, and you still
Yeah.
remember it too. I'm not sure if we could someone give us a translation of it because I'd like to know.
Okay, so it's saying, and I don't speak German fluently or natively, but I do understand some. It's saying something about the midnight summer garden, but I can't piece together the central part of it.
Let me
Was
see.
this in any was this at the summer event that happened, or was it just?
Yeah, I think it was the summer event, but who knows? I mean, it's been so many years now,
Yeah,
that uh
there's another person in chat saying it's something about midnight in the summer garden.
Yeah,
Um,
I have a translation here. Midnight
ah,
breaks through the summer garden.
there we go. Yeah, yeah.
got
So
it.
it's interesting that you remember it despite not speaking German.
Well, yeah, I mean, and if I had to pick like a classic Fischl line that I always love is just, "I hear the voice of fate speaking my name in humble supplication." So, that's
I
always a
find
fun one.
it's incredible how easily you switch back and forth. It's surreal almost to me. You're doing this so easily.
Yeah, no, Fischl was like she was the first character that's such a different voice I own. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
and because I've been doing her for so long, she just comes out.
I can imagine, yeah. Is it one you would say one of the most reoccurring voices you do? Because there's often
Yeah,
content on Genshin, and so at least I assume. Of course, there's more and more characters, so maybe less screen time for your character. But
yeah. I know the Genshin universe is huge now. Like when we
it
first
is,
started,
isn't it?
there wasn't that many, and then
Definitely. Yeah.
now there's so many. I can't keep up with all the new
No, I get that.
characters.
I totally get that. I remember you were
Yeah.
in one of the very first events, I believe, as well.
Yeah,
Back
yeah.
when,
I was one of the first characters that they introduced
yeah,
after COVID,
yeah,
or
yeah,
during
yeah,
COVID when it first
yeah.
started.
No, I remember it as well. You were in an event with Mona, and
Yes.
that's really the first moments I got with Fischl was at the very start. It was limited as well. Not a lot of people have played that. I remember it very fondly. It was a great moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
good stuff.
Okay. I should probably get to the next slide. I'm sorry, rambling quite a bit. But this one, more or less, you have just answered. Was it hard to pronounce Fischl's full title and all the German?
Yes.
This is by Fern Cloud.
Yes, absolutely. Especially on our first session, because we had to figure out how she says her name, which I'm sure is not
Yeah,
proper German.
yeah,
And then we had to figure out how to say it. And then because her lines are so long, if I messed up her name in the middle of the line, we'd have to start
retake.
over.
Yup.
Um,
Oh, that is bad.
it was so difficult. And so that first recording session, it for a couple of her lines where she introduces herself, um, it took a solid hour. It took a
Wow.
really long time. But now I've been doing it for so long that it's like, oh
Second
yeah,
nature.
that same German word, fine, I got
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it.
Do you think they've kind of simplified the German for you, or did you prefer it this way, the pronunciation? Because I assume that must have been a really long conversation to figure out. Do you rather have the real pronunciation or this, like the one we ended up with, which is, as you said, probably not very accurate, but at least people
Yeah.
know the origin.
Yeah, so for me, because when I got cast, they did not they were like they said nothing in the audition about speaking German.
Okay.
Um,
Wow.
and so I show up to the first session and they're like, okay, so she says words in German. And I was like, I don't speak
Uh,
German. And they were like,
wow.
we'll figure it out.
Really? Wow.
hmm
Okay. And you went with
Yeah.
it, and it ended up
Yeah.
being great.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I try.
All right, next one. So I don't stall too much. This is by Rift VA. What is the
Okay.
story of how you landed the role for Fischl, and what is your advice for other voice actors wanting to land similar roles, in the industry?
Oh, great question. So, I got the audition through my voiceover agent.
Okay.
And with these games, Genshin had not come out yet, and
Hmm.
it was all they changed the title, so we didn't know what game it was for. And
Really?
when I auditioned for Fischl, there was no German, and they were like, she's in her 20s and she feels things really deeply. And so originally when I auditioned for her, her voice was like a lot lower. She was a lot
Really?
more heartfelt and a little more serious.
Okay.
And um, I get into the session and they were like, hey, we loved your audition. We love how you connected to her, but we
Yeah.
need to make her a lot younger and a lot like
Really?
snootier. And I was like,
I see.
okay, here we go.
Oh,
So yeah, when it comes, and that happens all the time. Like you'll audition for something, you get into the session and they're like, okay,
yeah.
let's change how you auditioned for this. Like let's change the voice or add an
Hmm.
accent or
Yeah.
whatever.
Wow.
And so for
That's
the
crazy. Yeah.
I know, isn't it? And then
I'd say so.
advice for voice actors wanting to land similar roles in the industry is acting is the most important thing. Like, for instance, in this situation, my voice is not what booked me the role because we changed her so drastically. What
Hmm.
got me the role was my acting and how I connected to Fischl as a character. And
You mean
so,
not physically as well, like movements, etc.?
well, because with voiceover auditions, they never see us, right? They just
No,
hear
definitely.
us.
Yeah.
And so for me, I like every actor is a little bit different. And so for me,
Sure.
I emotionally connected with Fischl about, living in another, like imagining another world,
Hmm.
wanting to
Hmm.
be somebody else, and, really investing in this world that she's creating. And that was
Yeah.
something I really connected to. And so, when you're auditioning, if you can find how similar that character is to you, the voice will take care of itself, and they can always
Sure.
change it in the
True.
room. But if you connect to that character and really bring them to life, that will get you into the door so much
That's
faster.
really cool. That's I think that's really good advice.
Yeah, and I mean, for a lot of people, when it comes to voice acting, they focus on the voice and not the acting. It's like, oh,
Yeah, definitely.
I can do Mickey Mouse. I can do a Timmy Turner, or I can put on this
Yep, yep,
voice.
yep. Mhm.
And they forget about the acting when the
Yeah,
acting is more important than the voice because we can
that's
always
true.
adjust the voice.
True. Okay, that's wow. I think that's really good advice. Let's move on to this one. This is by ASAP IE. I hope I'm pronouncing that well. For what reason did you decide to become a voice actor?
Oh, that's a great question. I actually fell into it. So I started off doing theater and film
Hmm.
when I graduated college. So I was doing on stage stuff. I was doing some commercials, which was
Really?
funny, and some indie film, which is silly. Looking back, I'm like, oh gosh, so embarrassing. Um,
But it's really cool for experience, though, I'm sure.
yeah, exactly. And so for me, I had watched some anime. I'm not for anybody who's followed me, I'm a really bad video gamer. Like, I'm just such a button masher. I get overwhelmed
Same.
really easily. So Spyro is my jam.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I love watching gameplay. My husband plays, and so when I was living in Seattle, my husband worked at a recording studio at the time where they filmed
Okay.
or where they recorded a lot of the early Nintendo stuff.
Really?
And I was dropping off lunch for him one day, and they were
Mhm.
like, "Hey, you're an actor, right?" It's like, "Yeah." They were like, "Well, we need an actor to jump in the booth and say this one line for this Mariners commercial. And I was like,
Whoa.
sure, okay. So I got in the booth, I did it, and I come out and they were like, you didn't suck at that. Here's a check. And I was like, what? This is a job? Oh my
Really?
God. And so
Great
that just,
compliment too.
yeah, right. They were like, you didn't suck. So I was like, I want to do this more. Let's go. And
Sure,
so
sure.
then I booked my first video game, which they never announced it was me, but it was, if you guys remember the 1-2 Switch, the game that came out when the Switch
No
first
way.
came out. So I'm the English chick voice in a lot of the games and in
Really?
some of the commercials. If you guys remember the 1, 2,
There's
1,
no
2,
way.
3, that was me.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that was
is
my first
really
video
cool.
game.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay. Wow. But that's so in that game, I assume there's not that much to voice. There's some tutorials, I believe, for the mini games, perhaps.
Yeah, and in the mini games, it's the people
Oh
like I
yeah.
remember the telephone one where you have to pick up and
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
hello really
Yeah.
fast. I
Mhm.
literally said hello for 20 minutes because they wanted so many different ways to say hello,
Yeah.
hello,
Yeah.
hello, 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 hello. Like
That's
it
true.
was
The intro has that. It's
ridiculous.
true. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That is very fun. Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
it was yep. So I fell into voice acting and now it's been my full-time job for 6 years, which is cool.
Incredible. Incredible.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. I think this one we're gonna disqualify Fischl. It might be a bit unfair. This
Dang
is by
it.
Angelina Wang.
Dang
Who's your
it.
favorite Genshin character and why? I'm sure you can elaborate on Fischl. I'm
Oh
sure people want to hear
gosh.
it.
You know, there's so many characters and it's hard because a lot of the actors are my friends and so I'm like, I
Yeah,
love all of them.
of course, of course.
One I love to hate on because
Oh,
secretly I want to be this character.
okay.
You guys know Child?
Uh-huh.
I just want to go around and I do that every time we're in a convention together. I always make fun of Griffin, but I'm always like,
That's
I
so
just
good.
want to say, "Hey, girly." Like I just want that to be my thing.
Yep,
Um,
yep,
so that's my life goal. I love him. I also love Ganyu.
yep,
So fun.
yep.
And one of my best friends voices her, Jin Losi. She's incredible. So
That
yeah,
is really cool.
those are my top two. But I
Okay.
mean, I also love OG Jean. You know, Amber's super fun.
Yeah, yeah,
So
totally
there's
agree.
too many.
I like that. A little bit of voice actor rivalry. I think that's great.
Yeah, there you go.
No, my child is not very leveled, but we'll keep that a secret, I will say.
Okay,
Most of
I
the
won't
people that
tell.
watch me are not happy about it, but this might be a reason to, I'm sure. Okay. Next, we got a question by 26 Year. I hope I'm saying that right. What type of music do you enjoy, and any songs in specific?
Oh, I love this question. I mean, for me, I love all types of music. But my like, if I was sitting down, my main go-to is definitely hard rock, alt rock, and punk.
Okay,
Um,
nice.
Paramore is my jam. I could listen to
Classic.
Paramore all day, any day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Also, if you guys have heard any of my other interviews, you know, I've been to Ozfest multiple times. Metallica was my first concert with
That's cool.
in Linkin Park, Godsmack. So, you know, I
Wow.
I, I love that kind of stuff. But
Ozfest does
I
make sense for you.
yeah, and it's fun and it's fun pump up music, especially for like um the different characters I play and stuff. So
Yep,
I'm gonna
yep.
say not to be cliche, but this sounds like something Fischl would listen to.
Exactly.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep,
She's definitely a Paramore type girl. Like she loves to rock out and, you know, feel her feelings deeply. I mean,
definitely.
I'm sure there's a little emo in there as well, emo punk. So,
Oh, of course, of course. Okay, those are great choices. I'm 100% with you on that.
oh, and it's fun. And I love this question too because I got a when I go to conventions and stuff, an artist I commissioned did a fan
Mhm.
art official for me where it's the punk rock princessin.
Really?
It's
Okay.
one of my favorite pieces of official fan art.
Yep, I can
So
imagine.
if you get me to your local convention, I'll bring it, and you guys can see it.
Would you come to France or anywhere in Europe?
Yes, absolutely. I
Really?
was in the UK
Okay.
last year for a convention.
Really?
So yeah,
Uh,
tell
I
your
wasn't
local
aware.
con I'll be there.
Deal. Deal. I'll try and get in touch. I'll keep this as proof as well, if you don't
There
mind.
you go. And yes, GalaxyCon Raleigh, I see you in the chat. I'm from Raleigh originally. If you can get me to GalaxyCon, you're my new bestie.
Wow, that's a big claim. All right, good luck. I hope so. I hope
Fingers
so for the
crossed.
both of you. Okay, that was the part of pre-picked questions.
Oh wow, that went by so fast.
Yep, I agree for sure. I think I tried to stall a bit longer with adding some, but I think it's better that we leave it to the live Q&A now, which will not be hosted by me. This will be hosted by Kumemos, who just joined. Welcome.
Oh, welcome,
Hello.
welcome.
Hello
So
everyone,
to-
I'm Komemos. Hello everyone, I'm Komemos. I'll take care of the second part of this interview. Nice to meet you. Genshin, you're in the Genshin, you're in the voice chat. You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello. I'm on a really bad device, so I sound really bad right now.
No, you're good.
No, you
sound
sound
good.
great.
Basically, my question is, how did you feel voicing the Genshin 2.8 summer event?
Oh, what a great question. I loved the summer event. It was so much fun. We had a blast, and I didn't realize it would be such a big event. And then when I got into the session, they were like, so basically you're voicing your evil twin, have fun. And so that was so fun. And it was I didn't realize that the story until we got into it would be so emotional and so impactful as it was, which was incredible. Like I love such great storytelling like that event. And all the fun rivalry stuff with Mona and all that was just super fun to lead up into it. But it was such a great event, and I love rewatching it because it was just so cool.
Yeah, I think it was one of my favorite event as well. Probably my favorite summer event over the last 3 years. The mini games, the domains, etc. were incredible as well.
Right? I know. I like
Yeah.
watching them. I was like, these look super fun, and the different areas were gorgeous.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. So
All
great
right.
question. Thank you.
Next I will pick let me see, Mizu Neko. I will move you to the speaker role and you'll be able to unmute. Here you go.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hi there. I hope you're all doing well. Hi, everyone. Hi, Chad. Hi, Brittany.
Hi.
So, I love Fischl. She's been one of my oldest characters with me. I think I got her on my second day of playing Genshin.
Aw.
Yeah. So, my question is, her personality is very unique, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, how difficult was it to get into her character? Because Tina said that when reading manga, she saw herself in Kale immediately. So I wanted to compare your experience of getting acquainted with Fischl.
Yeah, that's such a great question. So, with Fischl, it was really challenging for me because I connected with her emotionally, but the snooty prinzessin was very challenging for me because that's not something me as a human is used to doing. Like, I don't think I've ever been snooty. And so what we did is we found a little gesture that she has where she's basically like at her nails in a snooty way while she's saying some of her lines, and that really helped me get that kind of like I'm better than everyone else kind of vibe, especially when we first started recording her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was a challenge, but I think we did it. Now she's one of my most fun
And you did
characters to
great.
voice.
I just want to say you did great. I
Aw.
love Fischl's voice. I
Thank
think
you.
I remember this cutscene during the 2.8 summer event when basically Xinyan was introducing herself to Fischl and Mona, and then at
Mm.
some point, Fischl and Mona collectively in their mind said, "Oh, I like her." That scene cracked me up.
Ah!
That made me laugh. Yeah.
I love all of her interactions with Mona. They always make me giggle. So that's so fun. I'm so glad you enjoyed
Baby.
it. Thank you so much for that great
Thank you.
question.
Also, wow, it's so wild to discover we have such similar music taste. Yeah.
Mm.
When I was listening you answering to the question about music, yeah, those are
I
all
love it.
good bands I listen to. So yeah, thank
I
you.
agree.
Paramore was always good. Indeed.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, thank you
Anyways,
for your question.
enjoy the rest of the Q&A. Hope you have a good
Awesome.
time.
Thank you.
Take care. All right, you should be able to speak now.
Hello there. Cool. Hope you're all having a great day.
Hi.
So I guess, I had to come up with a question. So I got back into this game when they released the card game, and Fischl, what were you thinking when you were going through the lines that Fischl has in the card game and the absolute chaos that is?
Oh, in the TCG, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was honestly enjoying the chaos. We were I imagined her being like a mob boss, in like this seedy back room and is like, "Welcome to my game. Let's go." Like that, like she's just like a puppet master type of vibe. So that was super fun.
Have a great evening, day. I don't know what time it is for you guys.
Oh,
All right.
yeah, it's still morning for me, so early on
Oh,
my day.
okay.
Yeah, getting
Have a
to the
good
evening
morning,
here,
then.
but
3:40 a.m. here.
Oh my gosh, well, thank you for
oh
staying up
yeah, need
late.
to sleep.
Yes, have a great day. Thanks
Oh,
for
you
having
Thanks
have
me.
a
for your
great
question.
evening.
Hello, Moni. You can unmute yourself.
Hello. I'm
Hi.
so glad to be here. My question is probably a bit more broad, but I wanted to ask, like, how does your average voice acting session go?
Oh, my average voice acting session go? Yeah, so it's different for every time. So, sessions can go anywhere from 30 minutes to 4 hours.
Mhm.
So the range is really big. But when it comes to Fischl stuff, what happens is for Fischl, I always record in my home studio because we've been doing that since the pandemic. And I show up, and then they give me basically, it looks like an Excel spreadsheet. Like it's a big Excel spreadsheet, and it has all of my lines. And then sometimes it'll have Oz's lines because, as we all know, Fischl, the way she speaks sometimes, we don't quite know what she means. So we need Oz to help translate. And even for me, that's super helpful. So, yeah, so the director will tell me, like, hey, here's what's going on in the scene. Here's who you're talking to. Here's what's happened. And then we start recording. And so we'll typically do an A and a B, or 2 takes of each line. And then if they want me to do something different, they'll give me a different direction and I'll do it again. And then, yeah, we just flow through, and, anywhere from 30 minutes to 4 hours of that Fischl voice. And yeah, that's the whole session. We laugh a lot. We look for Fischl specifically, we look up a lot of words because, I'm a smart person, but I'm not that smart. And some of the words she uses, I'm like, I've never heard that in my life. So we definitely look up a lot of stuff.
Okay. Thank you for answering my question. I think
Oh,
that's
you're
it.
so welcome. And thank you for asking it. It was a great question.
Okay. Um, yeah. Okay. I guess have a good day, and let's, I guess, get another person to ask your question.
Oh, thanks, Moni.
Take care.
Enjoy.
Bye bye.
All right, MH Barney, you're up.
Yeah, okay. Hi, guys, and hi, Brittany.
Hi.
First of all, thanks for all your amazing work. Your voice really gives the character a different kind of perspective other languages don't, in my opinion.
Oh, thank Thank you.
I'm actually from German, so
Oh
that people
gosh.
can laugh, I will actually say the one line in German.
Do it.
Prinzessin der Verurteilung.
Oh my, it sounds way cooler when you say
I guess so. So, okay. Without wasting any time, my question would be: does connections within a game, for example, Oz or Mona, does this count into your connection as a voice actor with these people, or is it completely independent from another?
Oh, yeah, like, so me with the characters, does it affect how I relate to their actor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and to the voice actor, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a great question. Yeah, it's so funny because a lot of people, because um, I started doing this game, recording this game during the pandemic, a lot of the people I had never met before. I had heard their names, but we had never actually met in person. And so getting to know their characters and stuff, I felt like I knew them. And when I got to meet them in person, it was like, oh my God, I feel like I know who you are. Allegra Clark is like that. We've worked together on multiple games, and I had never met her in person until last year. And we were like, oh my gosh, we're besties. So I feel like that happens all the time. And Griffin, we've done quite a few conventions together at this point, and meeting him in person, it feels like we joke around, so it feels like a brother sister kind of vibe, which I feel like our characters in game would be that way, like kind of snarky with each other, but like full of love. So yeah, so it totally depends on everybody, but yeah, it's makes me feel like I already know them, even though we've never met before, which is fun.
Yeah, that's really kind of funny.
Yeah. Oh, what a great question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Before we move on to someone else, I also had a question more related to the process of recording, etc. Before, I don't know, before like there's an event or a quest. I wanted to know, do you know how long in advance do you know, do you usually record the stuff before like an event or a quest? Like, do you know how long?
It's different every time, because we're not in English is not the original language, and so a lot
Yeah.
of the work has been done. So sometimes, it comes out as soon as a few weeks. Sometimes it's 6 months. So it
Yeah.
really is all over the place. And when we record, we have no idea. They're just like, "Hey, new event, let's go," and we're like, "Cool, I'll see it at some
And then
point." So
it's surprised when it comes out and you're like, oh, let's go.
yeah, exactly. Usually it's I get onto Twitter and I have a lot of notifications and I'm like, oh, must be a new event. Cool.
Nice. I will pick up someone that requested earlier. I will bring Violet. If you're here, I'll move you to speaker and you'll be able to ask your question.
Hi.
Hi.
What's the best and hardest thing about being a voice actor?
The best and hardest thing. Well, the best thing is that I, you know, get to act every day and that I get to play so many different characters and work on so many different projects and live in all these different universes and worlds that are so amazing. Um, and another thing I love about being a voice actor is how many people we impact. Like you guys, the fans who really love Genshin and other properties I'm a part of, like how much it affects people, and like I get to connect and talk with all of you, so I get to meet so many different people. Like that's always such a great feeling. Um, the hardest thing about being a voice actor is how much time I spend alone. um, because most of my job is auditioning for projects and I don't book all of them. And so a lot of the time I'm just alone in my booth auditioning and recording and editing and sending stuff in and hearing nothing back. And so that's always really challenging because I really like being around people and chatting with people and acting with people, and a lot of it is you're by yourself for a lot of it. So I would say that's the most challenging thing for me.
Well, thank you so much for answering my question.
Thank you for the great question.
All right, next we'll have Anthys. I'll move you to the speaker, and you'll be able to mute as well. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Hi.
Now, the thing is, I am a huge Fire Emblem fan, so I remember you mostly for Fire Emblem Three Houses rather than Genshin Impact.
Oh my goodness, that's okay. I love, Fire Emblem was my first character that I got to voice in a video game. So that was my first thing I booked when I moved to LA. So it always has such a special place in my heart.
It's a great series. It's a great game.
No, what my question was, is Fischl your favorite character you've voiced, or is it someone else?
Oh, I understand why you asked that question. It's hard, honestly, it's really hard to pick a favorite character because I love them all for different reasons. Like Fischl, I love her so much because she's so kooky and so funny. Even though she doesn't feel that she's funny, she's very serious about everything. But I mean, I like for Fire Emblem, for those who have played Three Houses or Three Hopes or Heroes, I love Ingrid because Ingrid is basically me. We are so similar, and it was so cool to play a character who's very close to me naturally. And then I was talking to somebody else earlier about Pokemon, like Sonia. I freaking love Pokemon, and I love Sonia because she's just so fun. So yeah, so it's hard to pick a favorite. It's like picking your favorite child. It's like you like them all for different reasons.
Yeah, I can understand. I can understand that completely. But yeah.
So is your house blue?
True.
Are you a Blue Lions? Is that your house, or do you follow a different house?
Well, the thing is, so it's like I have only ever played Crimson Flower and Azure Moon because I just really like Ingrid, absolutely can't stand Rhea. But anyway.
Fair.
But yeah, the thing is, I just want to say it's so amazing to meet a person who has voiced not just one but two beautiful green-eyed blondes in games I like.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That's very kind. I'm glad you were able to make the event today.
Thank you for your question.
And thank you for the chance.
Hello.
Hi.
I have two questions, if that's okay.
You got it.
So the first one is, what's your favorite plant?
My favorite plant. Oh gosh. I would say I love tulips.
I like those. The second one is, when you were starting out, how did you sort of get yourself out there? And when you were getting a bit bigger, how did you get to agents?
Good question. So for me, because I started in theater and on camera, I had actually had my very first agent came to me because they saw me on stage. And so that's how I got to dip my toe in that world. But when I moved to LA and I didn't know anybody here, even though I had been working and stuff, and I just had to go through this again because my LA agency closed. So I had to get a new agent. What I did is I reached out to agents and sent them my materials, sent them my demo, told them what I'm working on. And I was like, hey, I'd love to set up a meeting. Let's chat. And not everybody got back to me, which is fine. And so that's how I got an agent. A great way for people getting started to meet agents and get a feel for them and kind of get in front of them so you can understand what they look for is to take workshops with agents so that way you can learn what they're listening for and if you vibe with them and all of that good stuff. So if you feel that you've been working for a little bit and you're ready to take that step to getting an agent, I highly recommend, watching interviews that they've given or take a workshop with them so you can learn about them and learn how they feel about you, and also, if you're going to invest in materials, make sure you, when you're ready to get an agent, make sure you have a good demo. Like that's very important. And I do a lot of talks about demos. So if anybody's interested, shoot me tag me on Twitter, and I'll send you an interview I did all about demos to help kind of demystify that. But yeah, that's how I did it. And yeah. I hope that answered your question.
It did. Thank you.
You are so welcome.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. I'm just gonna pause for a second and say we do have some questions in the official VA Q&A.
Sure.
Brittany, if you wouldn't mind trying to find a few questions from there.
Yeah.
And see what you can answer. There's quite a few. These might give an angle that we haven't, addressed before and give a chance to people who can't actually talk to have the questions.
Oh no, that's such a great thing. I will run through some of these quickly. How about that? So somebody's Fate asked, as a voice actor, have you been recognized by your voice? Once or twice, yes. It's very few and far between. But the one time I did get recognized by my voice was not for character work, but for I was the promo voice of HBO for summer, and somebody was like, "Did you do HBO?" And I was like, "Yes, I did." So that was the one time. But usually it doesn't really happen. And Miyu asked, are you and the voice actor of Oz close in real life? Yes. So Ben Pronsky, who voices Oz, I actually worked for him for one of his companies that he owns, called Voice Actors Network. I was his assistant when I first moved to LA. And then we both booked Fischl and Oz at the same time. And I was like, haha, now I'm your boss. I get to tell you what to do. So that was really fun. That was really fun. And we still chat, and he's such a good dude. So Lifeblood Vessel asked, do you think you'd get along with Fischl in real life? I think we would. I think I'd be like, you're really weird. I don't know. But then I think we would vibe after a couple of hangouts, which is great. I Don't Like Milk asked, how do you record Fischl rants? It's a challenge for sure. I saw somebody asked earlier, like, have I ever spoken in elevated speech like Fischl does? And I did when I was in college. I took a Shakespeare class, but I've never like booked anything in Shakespeare. And so I've had a little bit of experience speaking like that elevated, like blessed art thou type stuff. So recording the Fischl rants is just, when we first get started, I'm like, what is she actually saying? Because I have no idea. And then we just go from there and have fun. And it took a lot of practice for sure. Oh, okay. Somebody asked, a couple of people asked, do I cosplay as at all? And I do not cosplay. I'm so impressed by people who cosplay, and all of your outfits are incredible. I feel like I would be overwhelmed with all the choice, and to put it together, like that just I would want to do it so well. And I think that would just take too much time for me. So I love celebrating other people's cosplays. So if you cosplay Fischl or any of my other characters, always feel free to tag me. I love to share and like celebrate and all that good stuff. So yeah.
I've read one question that I'm curious about, if you don't mind me. Someone said, Hermit Grab said, I'm a massive fan of both Fischl and Farina. Do you want to see them together in an event sometime? If so, what scenario would you want them to be in?
Oh gosh. Yeah. No, that'd be awesome. I really
You
love her.
don't necessarily have to describe a scenario, but yeah, what do you think about Farina in general, I
Oh my
guess?
gosh, so cool. I mean, like, what a awesome new-ish character, which is so fun. And I mean, I loved her announcement trailer when it came out, whenever that was, because what is time, was really cool. So yeah, I don't know what event, because for those of you who have heard me talk before, I don't play Genshin because, again, button masher, get overwhelmed. It's a lot. But I love watching the gameplay. So I'd be curious to see them anywhere. I think that'd be a really fun interaction.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think with this, we're arriving to the end, actually.
Yep, we kind of are arriving to the end. So I just want to first off thank both of you guys. I thank you, Comies, for being on here. Thank you, Brittany, for coming on and doing the interview with us. Thank you so much for giving us your time and answering all these questions. It was really interesting to hear some things, we didn't know before, especially some of your, voice acting experience, how you started out. That was really interesting. Everyone, before we're going to go ahead and finish and sign off, I just want to say you guys can check out Brittany. I believe she said she's active on Twitter. Check out her socials. You can definitely interact. I know she's mentioned that she now does some voice acting as well.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for jumping in and for all the great questions. And thank you all to the mods and hosts and everybody for having me. Like, this was so awesome. So thank you for spending some time with me today. And yeah, like you guys said, I'm available on socials. I'm on Instagram and Twitter. And you want me to come out to your local con, I'm down. And yeah, hopefully we can see each other in the real world at some point.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there any farewell message you'd like to say in general?
Yeah. The Princessin hopes you all have a blessed day. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was amazing. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.